Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Victorian Literature Journey tag. This tag is the creation of Roz of Skeledendling about the books and her daughter Tilly, and is in celebration of Victober. Here on BookTube, the month of October is devoted to the reading of Victorian literature, and this tag itself is inspired by last year's the Shakespeare Journey tag, which was created in honor of Shaktember or Shaketube. I think it's Shaktember this time around, which is a month-long reading event in September in which participants read Shakespeare. So much like with my Shakespeare Journey tag caveat, the Victorian Literature Journey tag needs a caveat. I'm not drawn to Victorian literature at this moment in my reading life, and I haven't for many years. The last time was maybe in my mid-20s. I've participated in Victobers off and on for the last few years since I became a part of this booktube community, but it hasn't gone well. But that's not to say that I haven't read some Victorian literature. I have. It's just right now I'm not all that enthusiastic or interested in seeking it out and reading it. Um, so let's get on with the questions. Question number 1. What was your first experience reading Victorian literature and how was it? So initially, as I was thinking about this question, I went back to my first experience with the Sherlock Holmes stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I was 10 or 11. We went to me, my mom, and my brother went to a garage sale, and there was an oversized collection of some Sherlock Holmes stories. An abridged version of A Study in Scarlet, I think The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle, Red-Headed League, A Scandal in Bohemia, and maybe one other. And I liked it well enough, enough to periodically check out the complete Sherlock Holmes from my junior high school library, and later to buy a 2-volume mass market complete Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. But subsequently, I don't know what happened to that 2-volume set. Probably got traded in for store credit somewhere, and I haven't really been all that interested in reading Sherlock Holmes since then. And it's been, well, I think I read The Hound of the Baskervilles in college. So that would have been about 20 years ago. So, yeah, but I haven't felt an urge to read Sherlock Holmes since then. But last night I was remembering back and I'm like, wait a minute. I've had earlier experience with Victorian literature. So a few years before I found that collection of Sherlock Holmes stories, my dad or my stepmother bought a number of great illustrated classics, reprints for me and my brother, although they ended up mostly being mine since of the two of us, I am the reader and he very much is not. And one of those books was a Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. And I remember having read that novel several times, at least twice, once during a weekend visit to my dad's, and another during a summer at my babysitter's, like just reading A Tale of Two Cities for the entire day. And unfortunately, I don't really remember much of my feelings about it, although I had to have liked it well enough to reread it at least once. And but I haven't gone back to it. I haven't felt the urge to ever really go back to A Tale of Two Cities. Um, so anyway, um, prompt number 2: has the reading of a Victorian book ever brought you to tears? If so, tell us more. No, I've never been brought to tears. I don't even think that first reading of A Tale of Two Cities when I was 7 or 8, maybe 9 at the most, brought me to tears. Prompt number 3: are there any people who have played a significant role in your Victorian literature journey? No. I never had a teacher or a recommender who um, pointed me in a great uh, path into Victorian literature. Prompt number 4: do you have a favorite film or TV adaptation of a Victorian book? What about one you'd like to see made? So I'll draw off of Steve Donohue's version of this tag and go with the Disney Jungle Book adaptation. I loved that movie when I was a kid. And I read it, I watched it about 10 or so years ago, and it was pleasant. So I'll go with that. For one I'd like to see made, I don't know. I've been thinking of maybe the works of H. Rider Haggard, like say King Solomon's Mines or She. But I don't know if they could really be done today. Um, they could be, but I don't know. And I'm not really all that interested in movies anymore. I have two movies that I've had some some credit with Amazon, neither one of which are Victorian, that I've been meaning to watch and I just haven't yet. So even if there is one made, I probably wouldn't watch it anyway. Okay, moving on to prompt number 5. Which character in Victorian literature most resembles you, or you identify with most? Catherine de Medici, or does um, Alexander Alexander Dumas not count as Victorian literature, even though he wrote during the same period? If not, I don't know. I would say Ayesha, but then again, I'm not going to wait several thousand years for my boyfriend to reincarnate, so I don't know. Prompt number 6. Do you have a favorite moment, scene, or line from Victorian literature? Tell us about it or read it to us. I would say The Kraken by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and The Lady of Shalott, also by Tennyson. Especially if you could ever listen to it sung, The Lady of Shalott, sung by Lorena McKennitt. It is fantastic. Prompt number 6. No? Okay, prompt number 7. Does any Victorian literature intimidate you? If so, what and why? No, it's not so much intimidation as lack of interest. I'm not interested in anything Victorian right now. and I don't think there's ever been a book that's intimidated me. Prompt number 8. What tips would you give to someone early on in their Victorian literature journey? So I would focus on shorter works, um, poetry, short fiction, maybe drama, although there's really not much Victorian drama, I don't think. But yeah, shorter works probably would be great. But I mean, I'm not really one to recommend because uh, what Victorian literature I've read, it's been years, and I'm not all that, yeah, fresh right now. Prompt number 9. What is your top recommended read for other readers of Victorian literature? Um, I would go with, I think Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte is really good. Um, I mean, at least I remember it having been very good. I mean, it's been not quite 20 years since I read it. Bleak House, I think, is fairly good. Um, Maybe the Alice books by Lewis Carroll. Although I did not get on with my last attempt at reading, well, my last read of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I think the Moonstone, the Sherlock Holmes stories, some of the early science fiction novels of, like, say, H.G. Wells, yeah, that sort of thing. And prompt number 10, tag people. So if you like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. I will be back tomorrow with probably another tag video. And until then, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.